Hello and welcome to Steve's Backyard Bonsai. I'm in my living room and I unfortunately have something very sad to show you. If you recall, a while back I got some Norfolk Island pines. The noise that you're hearing is Luca chasing a reflection around the kitchen. So it helps with my sadness. But let me turn the camera around and show you what I'm talking about. Here are my Norfolk Island pines. Lucas, stop. Stop. Here are my Norfolk Island pines, which I planted in a forest, and they have become crispy dead trees. I vowed at the time that I started this channel I would show you my successes and I would show you my failures. This is a failure. Every one of these trees is crisp, and I don't mean in a good way. They're all dead. I was watering them. I even had a tray of water underneath them. They may have been sick from the beginning. Who knows? You get these things in the grocery store. Lord knows had they been taken care of. But I also spent a good deal of time untangling the roots and probably messed them up a little bit that way too. So this forest is a failure. So let me give you some more updates while I'm here. The jacaranda forest in the house is doing quite well. Even the little trees that I planted to replace the ones that Luca knocked over and killed, they're doing okay. They don't get a terrific amount of sun. Overall, the forest is doing well. This is the willow leaf ficus, which, as you can see, is beginning to send out new branches. Those are some of the old leaves, but if you look down, there are new leaves growing among them. I'm very happy to see this development, and I can't wait to see this tree in all its glory. These are some jade babies that are going to be the subject of a later part of this video. If anyone remembers, I brought home some Norfolk Island pines that were growing in someone else's yard or someone else's house, and they threw them out. And while I was out walking my dog, Luca, I brought this bundle home. Right here is something I did not expect to see. I cut this one down all the way to see if it would grow. Everything I read said it would not. But as you can see right there, there's a little bud coming out of this one. But I'll follow these up. It's very interesting. I don't know what these are going to end up looking like, but they've all got growth. Every single one of these trees has growth coming out of the point where I cut it back. I did significant root work on these, but all of the growth is at the top. Here's the tallest one. It has growth here, at the top, here. This one was the first one to start growing. And as you can see, it's growing well. I don't know what these are going to look like in the future. They don't look like much now, but they're alive. Here are my jacaranda cuttings. which I always want to have replacements for my jacarandas. And the cuttings take beautifully. And here are two more dead Norfolk Island pines from the same batch. Here's my Schefflera. It looks pretty good in a south window. My tiger bark ficus has growth at the ends of almost all of the tips. Here's a new branch coming out, another new branch, but nothing down lower. I cut this one back significantly as well. And here is my jade forest with new growth pretty much everywhere. Now my MLK cactus, my Valentine's Day cactus, it did not bloom at all this year. It's alive, it's doing well. It used to have one of these little barrels. Now it has 1, 2, 3, 4 growing from it. But it did not bloom at all this year. A success, but it's still recovering. Okay, back in the living room. I am going to be doing some work out in the greenhouse. I got a little fun project that I'm going to work on, and that'll be coming up in just a little bit. Most of the items you see in front of you, specifically these items, were sent to me by Buffalo Bonsai. Andrew over at Buffalo Bonsai, a fellow YouTuber and a viewer. Soil with lava rock. Buffalo River gravel. And some seeds. Well, these look like I better get them out of here pretty soon. They might have been damp berries when they were put in here, so they will come out soon, but not today. Not today on video. Barberry berries, don't have any of those. Morning glory seeds, this will be for the spring. These are privet berries. You seeing any of this? Yeah, privet berries. Crab apple seeds. I love me some crab apple. And a pine cone with seeds falling out of it, which is great. Tiny. And upon inquiry, we've determined we don't know what kind of pine this is. So it's a small cone. Weigh in with your suggestions of what this might be. Now, I got a note. Very, very nice note. Enclosed you will find buffalo river gravel, a mame pot. Check this out. A mame pot, a really nice little ceramic pot. How cool is that? I hope you use the supplies to create a fantastic tiny penjing. Best wishes, Andrew at Buffalo Bonsai. So, I could plant something and wait and wait and wait and put something in here, or I have something that I think could go in here. And it's this little jade that grew at the end of a jade leaf that had fallen on the soil. It's tiny. I have 2 of them in here. I think one of them is going to go in this pot. I also have this little pot that my wife gave me. All right, so let's take a look at the Buffalo River gravel. Is it from the Buffalo River, or is it from Buffalo Bonsai? Look at that cool stuff. Oh, I think I have a use for this somewhere else. I might use a couple of pieces today. And let's also take a look at the soil with lava rock. I'm assuming this is his preferred bonsai soil. Okay, this is good bonsai soil, very good bonsai soil. But I think it might be too coarse. So I'm going to take out the coarse parts and mix the soil parts with some finer aggregate. This is good stuff. I'll put this aside. I also took out a little rock that I had in the greenhouse that I thought might make a good addition to this penjing. So here I'm going to mix it with my bonsai soil fines. Ends up being mostly perlite. So this becomes very lightweight stuff. But I think that's the weight I need for this penjing. Okay, that looks good. Still got some big pieces in there. Very good. Next part. This one doesn't have a hole. So I got some water in there. And I've got my diamond drill. Very small bit. And I'm going to drill a hole right about center. You get the bit started on an angle, and then you slowly straighten it out. Very nice. This has a hole in the center. Now it doesn't have any feet, so what I thought I'd do is just glue a screen to the bottom of it. It would raise it enough so that the water would drain out. So I'll do that. And let me just run that bit through this one, just so that it's almost the same size. That just opened this hole up a little bit. So I cut that little screen piece in 3s, and I'm going to put 2 here and here, raising this up, and I'll put the other one in here. Now I'd like to get these jades out of this pot. I'm not sure when I put them in here. It was after I worked on my jades last, so if you go through my history and find those videos, you'll see they didn't have much in the way of roots, but they were established as little trees unto themselves. This is the one I'm thinking for this pot. And the larger would go in this pot. So let me get these aside. I'll keep them moist. Let me take a look at my stock and do a little bit of pruning while I have it out. There's a remnant of the jade leaf from which it grew. I'm going to reduce that even further. I don't think it's providing much in the way of nourishment any longer. I'm trying to get rid of as much of the other aggregate as possible, and I want to spread these roots out. All right, let me get some of this soil into the pot. And this is my bonsai soil finds mixed with buffalo bonsai's soil that he sent me. So let's get a stone on one side. Let's get our tree. Let's spread the roots out as much as possible and get this tree planted. Working with the tiny's tough. So all of you who took that thimble challenge from Tom, from Grow and Clip Bonsai for Seniors, I feel for you guys. I mean, I love the results. But this scale is like, this is something else. All right. So I'm planting it at first without the rock. It's off to the side, which is good. The roots are spread out, which is also good. The rock would look good there. It's delicate. And I think I've got to water this little penjing by dunking it. Got to be another piece of rock that would go nicely in there. Yeah. Let's see how it looks in the long run. What do you think, Andrew? Thank you so much for the gifts, and I'll plant up all those seeds very soon. Let's plant this guy up. Okay, I got this little Tupperware full of water here. Well, not full, but with a little water. And I'm going to dunk the planting I just did. You can't see it. But I don't want to disturb the planting at all. I just want the roots to settle in. This mix will absorb this water. A few minutes. There we go. And get a good soaking. I'll move this aside. Now here's the little jade I want to plant up, but it's got 3 trunks, and I want to get rid of the lower leaves because this one's a little bit more mature. This is actually quite pretty. I'll show it off in just a minute. And I think I'm going to leave the lower leaves on that 3rd one. How pretty is that? All right, let's get this planted up. Okay, so I got a little piece of plastic screen at the bottom of that pot. I'm going to fill it up with Buffalo Bonsai's Magic soil mix. I'm going to try and position this in this pot as pretty as I can do it, showing off its beauty. I'll spread out these roots so they span the pot. Once again, my fingers might be designed for a little bit larger work. I applaud all of you who do this better than I. I am going to plant this a little deeper and expose it as time goes on. The handle of my grandfather's palette knife is great for this. All right, so I think the first penjing is watered well. I'm going to mist this right here to get some soil off of the leaves. That should dry out very quickly. And there's my little jade penjing. I hope you like it, Andrew. Now I'm going to dunk this one and get it watered. That'll take a few minutes. Well, that was my little fun exercise for today. Today is a heat wave in comparison to what we've been getting. It's gone down to 10 degrees above zero. I love it. Thank you for keeping me company in my backyard.